Now they call me Dali, but my first name was Gwedin. My steps mix with Blawa's heartbeats. Each morning wakes up our streets, filling them with the best of life, colors, sounds, and scents. This place, whispering old tales and full of life, holds my story, a story just starting to unfold. Blawa shows us two faces. In the daylight, we are a skin living together in peace. But when night falls, shadows hint at danger hiding just out of sight. It's in these changing times, from light to dark, that we grow closer, watching out for each other. Living with Blawa's ups and downs, I learn and grow stronger. Night threats are always there, but they can't break our spirit of being together. We stand as one against the darkness, showing Blawa's true strength, a light that never goes out. Beneath the big sky, I admire my gogo, the heart of our family. Her hands tell of hard work, but her stories are about loving strong and sticking together. Together we're strong, Mdanam, she says. Her words light up my way, teaching me how to walk through life. Utata yena, he's not much for words, but there's a whole world in his quiet. The way he carries himself, with stories in his eyes, makes people in Blawa give him space and respect. I'm trying to piece together his stories to really see the man behind the silence. The night the Buluklen came, our world was flipped on its head. They stormed in like a hurricane, scattering fear and confusion in their wake. Their light sliced through the night, turning our peaceful home into a battlefield. They searched with a desperation that filled the air, thick with tension you could almost touch. Our hearts raced together, my family and I united in sudden fear. The uncertainty hung heavy as shadows twisted our furniture into frightening shapes. We were a bundle of nerves, watching helplessly as strangers tore through our belongings, hunting for my father who had disappeared into the night. The rock of my family, my father, had become a question mark. His absence a puzzle that mingled with the chaos they left behind. When the clan finally retreated, a heavy silence took over, leaving our home feeling bare and vulnerable. Amidst the chaos, something shifted in me. The invasion, the violation of our home, ended my innocence and sent me on a new path. It wasn't just about finding Utata anymore. It was about seeking truth and standing up for what's right. In that moment of calm after the storm, I knew my journey was just beginning, a quest for answers, for clarity and for justice, born from a night that changed everything. In the quiet light of dawn, my grandmother called me aside with a concerned look I don't usually see. There's a moment in life, she started, her voice a delicate blend of concern and love, when we must face the truths that define us. For you, that time has come. She looked into me, her gaze unveiling hidden worlds. Your father was different, not of our blood, but part of our soul. And the power he carried, it stays within you. She handed me a string of beads, ancient and alive with a quiet energy. These protected your father, now they're yours. She said they were my shield to help calm the storm brewing inside me, but they were just the beginning. You must go further, she urged, her voice firm but tender. Seek Umkhulu, the shaman on the mountain. He will teach you to master the spirit you've inherited. This journey, it's your rite of passage, a request to embrace your inner strength. As she spoke, disbelief and shock washed over me. How could I, who had only known the simplicity of village life, carry such a mysterious legacy? The beads felt heavy with history and purpose, A physical connection to a father I realized I never truly knew. Armed with her blessings and burdened with 1,000 unasked questions, I knew my path had forever changed. Beyond funding my father, I now sought to understand the depths of the power flowing through my veins, to face a destiny I never imagined. Before chasing my father's shadow, I had to face the jungle, our tribe's test from boys to men. Imagine stepping onto a world so alive. It breathes with you, where every leaf and shadow teaches you to survive. We learn to hunt, fight, and stand together, turning from solitary figures into a band of brothers. Yet it wasn't just about what roamed in the daylight. The night brought its own terrors, witches' whispers that could freeze your soul, testing if your courage was as strong as your spear. Among these trials, a dream haunted me, man. A giant lion, noble and wild, would visit, locking eyes with mine. No words were spoken, but its message was clear. I kept the secret a private mystery in a world where showing fear could mean failure. As days bled into lessons of strength and spirit, I found myself leading, earning the title of general among the initiates. It wasn't about being the strongest. It was about understanding the heartbeat of the jungle and maybe the silent messages of my dream lion. Walking out of that jungle, I was transformed. The boy who entered was gone, replaced by someone ready for whatever comes next. With the wisdom of the wild, I stepped forward, not to just find my father, but to discover who I was meant to be. As I ventured up the mountain in search of Umkhulu, my imagination danced with the stories the village elders had spun around the fire. Tales of his mythical feats captivated me, from stealing a fairy's eye that bestowed the power of seeing the future, to drinking the blood of a god, granting him the ability to shapeshift, and even swallowing the tongue of a great beast to communicate with ancestors. Umkhulu wasn't just a man, he was a living legend. Entering the forest that embraced his mountain, reality shifted. Day instantly turned into night, with neither sun, moon, nor stars to guide me. What was meant to be a few hours' journey stretched into days. Doubt crept in as the forest labyrinth seemed to swallow my hopes. Finally, I found myself ascending the mountain, reaching a cave entrance where the air was thick with the scent of burning herbs. Though I couldn't see him through the smoke, Umkhulu's voice, clear and commanding, greeted me. "Mfana, what took you so long? I had arrived." Under Umkhulu's watchful eye, I spent 13 moons learning ancient rituals, crafting medicines to heal and harness my spirit. Despite his vast knowledge, Umkhulu admitted no knowledge of the force's origin within me, though its powerful aura frightened him. Umkhulu's final challenge was a journey to the heart of the cave, to a sacred burial site invisible to ordinary sight, visible only through the soul's eye. Finding my message among the ancient spirits would be my ultimate test, an initiation to uncover truths buried deep within both history and myself. In the heart of the cave, guided by something deep within me, I moved toward a destiny. Darkness seemed to clear a path for me, as if I am meant to walk this way. Then in a chamber filled with ancient power, I found myself floating, adrift in a place where gravity disappeared. That's when I heard her voice. The old woman's voice was strong and wise, piercing through my confusion. "Impure feet cannot touch this sacred ground." Her warning was firm but carried a hint of care. "Don't be scared, calm down, you are meant to be here, child." Without words, she seemed to understand my purpose, asking, "Why are you here? Uzanokufa ubuyile," she said, sending shivers down my spine. With her words echoing in my mind, I was caught in a trance, my senses overwhelmed by a rhythmic pulse. My soul's vision cleared, revealing the guardians of this sacred place. They were majestic, resembling the revered Abantwana Bezulu, descendants of the heaven, as my people say. In that moment, a lifetime of secrets was revealed to me, showing me a glimpse of time's beginning and end in a blink. This deep connection poured their ancient knowledge into me, linking our spirits. Her voice filled the space once more, naming me Dali, Ugwebizizwe, the one marked to judge the nations. Awakening from the trance, I was anew, carrying a mission shaped by ancient hands. Stepping out, I was ready to embrace my role in a world that awaited Judgment Day. As I approached the capital, the heavy air hinted at the trials ahead. A young Twasa, his gaze unsettlingly ancient, stopped me with a warning of the shadows that danced dangerously close. His words lingered as he vanished into the crowd, leaving me unsettled. The city's outskirts were covered by a dense forest, a natural fortress hiding secrets within its shadows. It was here that Jambase emerged, flanked by his troop of baboon ninjas. It was a confrontation long awaited by a man created by hatred. Jambase's life was marked by tragedy. After Abahlali accused his family of witchcraft and destroyed them, he was left to be raised by baboons. These creatures, now his family and army, echoed his anger and thirst for blood. He viewed me, a newcomer entangled in the city's dark prophecies, as a threat to his mission to dismantle the Bulu clan, the very architects of his Mizar. As we faced off, the forest seemed to hold its breath. Our duel was swift, a flurry of movements where each strike and parry told the story of Jambase's tormented past and desperate quest for revenge. In the heat of battle, I sought to find common ground beyond our blades. I tried to show him that we were both pawns on the city's chessboard. Understanding flickered in his intense eyes that the Bulu clan was our true common enemy. As the clash subsided and Jambase weighed his next move, I realized this was merely the beginning. The city awaited, a labyrinth of intrigue that held the keys to my father's whereabouts and truths to the prophecies that bound us all. Hidden within the capital's dark alleys, a woman with a kind smile approached me. She offered sanctuary from the lurking dangers of the city, inviting me into a quiet corner of Gauteng for a tea. Though she seemed gentle, thanks to Mkulu's lessons, the hint of poison underneath the floral scent of a rooibos tea exposed her true intentions. I called out to Bumenemene and the room instantly erupted into chaos. Shadows peeled away to reveal her comrades, a duo of assassins called Imvama, as lethal as they were blind. Trained in an ancient martial arts tradition, these warriors believed that true mastery lay beyond physical sight. They synchronized with the environment so deeply that they moved with the precision of creatures born of the air itself. But the cave granted me more than just vigilance. I learned to manipulate the subtle forces of nature. As Imvama advanced, guided by the echoes of my slightest movements, I drew upon my inner strength to disrupt these vibrations, cloaking myself in a silence as deep as the ocean's heart. In this unexpected silence, I forged my shield. The assassins, masters of the senses, faltered, lost in an unknown sea of silence. Without the guide of their hearing, their world collapsed into a puzzling fog of vulnerability. Amidst this void, I became the unseen storm. With each measured and deliberate step, I moved through them like a ghost. My movements were precise, each step a calculated dance of unavoidable strikes. In the thick of their confusion, I turned their blindness into a tactical advantage, weaving through them like a spirit, my strikes as inevitable as fate itself. Each motion was meticulously planned, light in its execution but devastating in its impact. Their disarray was my ally, and I bent their disorientation into my strategic victory. As silence reclaimed the room and I stood upon the slain, the realization of my journey's depth dawned upon me. Each step on this path, every encounter had been a forge for my spirit, tempering my abilities into something formidable. Betrayal had led me here, but resilience would lead me forward. The city's heart still pulsed with dangers and mysteries, yet with every challenge overcome, I was closer to unraveling my fate and the true power that lay within me. The city's drum beat loud, echoing through the streets. It was a signal for everyone to gather at the square for an execution. A chill ran down my spine. Could they be holding my father? I couldn't waste any time. I had to rush to the square. As I arrived, I realized it was a trap. The square wasn't filled with just townspeople. It was lined with soldiers from the Bulu clan. They were waiting for me, armed and ready. Right in the middle, the oracle stood, her presence commanding the crowd. She spoke clearly, her voice cutting through the murmur of the crowd. "You have been brought here by fate," she began. "The prophecy foretold your arrival and the danger it would bring to us all. This is not about you as a person, but about protecting our seed." Her words made it clear I was seen as a threat that needed to be stopped. Just as I was processing this, I felt the presence of allies I didn't know I had. A pride of spectral lions like the one I'd seen in my dreams at the jungle appeared beside me, but this time they had warriors on their back. Their arrival was sudden and powerful, and I could hear their thoughts urging me on, giving me strength. With the lion warriors at my side, I faced the Bulu clan. The soldiers hesitated, shocked by the sudden turn of events. The oracle looked on, her eyes wide with surprise. She hadn't seen this one coming. The battle began. It was fierce, but with my new allies we had the upper hand. The lion warriors and I moved as one, a force of nature against the soldiers. It wasn't just a fight for survival, it was a fight for the truth and to clear the way to save my father. After the clash, the square went silent. The remaining soldiers backed away, their resolve shaken. I stood there with the lion warriors, knowing this was just part of a larger journey. I had faced an army and discovered comrades in unexpected places. The city still held my father somewhere, and I was closer to finding him. Now more than ever, I was determined to uncover the whole truth and to clear any obstacles that stood in my way. The stillness of the city square shattered as a lone figure began to clap slowly. Emerging from the ranks of the Bulu clan, his presence sliced through the tension. Cloaked in the regalia of a general, his face was hidden behind a warrior's helmet until he was just steps away. He lifted the helmet to reveal my father's face, sending a shockwave through me. Relief mixed with dread, deepening the tension. "You have become the warrior our city needs, Dali," he declared, his voice filling the square. "Join the Bulu clan war and protect our legacy." His rallying words felt heavy like chains. As he spoke, I noticed him subtly signaling with his hand. A sharp sting then pierced the side of my neck, a tranquilizer dart. My vision blurred and I collapsed as betrayal bit deep. A terrifying vision consumed me. The sky turned dark with ash and smoke. A monstrous sky serpent reigned over the ruins. The cries of the doomed echoed, a melody to the unfolding apocalypse. Through the chaos, the clear voice of the ancient cave spirit cut through. "Dali, this is Judgment Day," she uttered solemnly. Her words echoed as a dark omen over the devastation. Darkness enveloped me, leaving the sting of betrayal and the haunting words of the cave spirit. As I faded into unconsciousness, seeds of wrath took root, fueled by the belief that my father had turned against me, leaving me to face a grim future.